Acts of Desperation.
In the chitlins' lives they destroy. Now, we're going to talk about the Acts of Desperation. We're going to also talk about Kitty Corner because they're one and the same. This is the boogeyman's house. When you go in there, there's a chance that you're going to run into the boogeyman. Now,
Why would you, if you could lose, why would you go in there?
that is an excellently stupid question because I'm desperate. I am desperate. My turn, if I have 2 cards here and I realize there's only 1 left, I need to get to Kitty Corner as quick as I can. So I would move here, and then I would play out my turn. Then I would draw again. Now on my next turn, I have to flip one of these. So technically, it's before your turn even starts. If you are in Kitty Corner at the start of your turn, before your move, draw, and play phase, you have to flip one of these. So let's say I flipped one. There's a really good chance that this card is going to put more cards back into my options pile. That's why I'm there, to stay in the game. Now at the same time, I could play a card to also move another player in there. So then Brian, at the start of his turn, would have to flip one of the cards. And just like that, Brian is eliminated. So just know that you could hang in there a little longer if you're desperate enough to go in the man's house, but you can run into the man. Now, let me explain something about that. You just flip this over. So the game would be over if it was just Brian and I, but let's say Brian and myself and you were playing this game. Brian is now out. Brian's little orphan's down for the count.
I'm dead.
So Brian would take, this card's face up, it cannot be moved, it's fused to the mat. So Brian's gonna take that card and all the other cards face down. He's gonna mix them. Now here's the fun part. Brian could technically look at them right now if he wanted to, and that way he would know where the boogeyman is. And he'd be like, ooh, you're gonna grab it? So he puts them out wherever he wants. So the next time another player's in the boogeyman's house, he has to flip it over and so forth. And you'll notice after a while, some of these cards, start being face up. Well, as long as the boogeyman's being flipped, and as long as there's cards that are face down, the player who's eliminated last will take the remaining cards, shuffle them, and put them back in. At some point, let's just say it happens to look like this. There's no avoiding this. You do not want to go in the boogeyman's house because that's it. I mean, that's it. You're out.
Yep. All right, one final thing on Acts of Desperation. This card specifically raised a few questions. What if there are no...
Well, that's not true. We literally had one person ask, but I want to cover it.
Fair enough. Go ahead.
Okay. The card says... I'll just read it. You can focus on Brian while I'm reading this. Place your pawn on any detour. Take the top 2 cards from another player's discard pile and put them on the bottom of your option deck. What if there are no
detours?
Yeah. So do I still get to do the other benefits? Again, yes. If you don't have one of the requirements on a card that has been activated, you could still do the parts that you do have. So if there is no detours, you can't move your pawn to one, but what you can do is still take the top 2 cards from another player's pile. And again, this starts your turn. So by moving to a detour, even if it is there, you still get to do your 3 phases after these things activate.
Yep.
And that triggered something else in my head, which was deck shuffling. Very specifically, if a card says put yours, like take the top 4 and put them under your deck or the top of your deck or whatever, unless it says shuffle them, you do not shuffle. If I'm taking 4 cards from the top of Brian's deck, I'm going to put those 4 cards in the top of my deck. I'm not going to shuffle those in, which is a great combo if I want to get on a certain spot where it lets me look at his cards.
So you kind of know what you're getting.
I now know what I'm getting. So only shuffle when it specifically asks you to shuffle.
That's it.
That's it.